once again, it is time for Shakesyear, which is a good thing, because if it was something else, you're at the wrong place. Anyway, today we are still working on Henry IV Part 2, and we are still in Act 4, Scene 1, which is the whole talking before the battle scene to try to straighten things out. So the Earl of Westmoreland came and was like, why were you, the Archbishop, a man of peace? Why are you talking war now? And the Archbishop is like, well, because the king isn't accessible to anybody. We try to come to him with our problems, and we can't even get audience with him. And Westmoreland is like, when have you ever not been able to talk to the king? Like, that's ridiculous. And the Archbishop is like, well, I mean for everybody. Like, I'm speaking for the general populace. So Westmoreland turns to Mowbray, who's standing right over there, and is like you, Mowbray, seriously, you have beef with this? Like, come on, what could you possibly ever have against the king? And we haven't seen it in these two plays because it's from Richard II, but an important thing to know from Richard II is that that particular play starts off with Henry Bolingbroke, who is King Henry from these plays, and Mowbray's dad, in front of Richard II, and they've been having this kerfluffle, this argument, this whatever, and Richard ends up banishing both of them. Mowbray forever, Bolingbroke for like 10 years. And Bolingbroke eventually comes back and overthrows Richard to become Henry IV. So Mowbray's dad was banished because of a fight that he had with Bolingbroke, who is now the king. So yeah, so when Westmoreland turns to him and says, like, what could you, like, he can't be speaking for you. Like, what do you have against the king? And Mowbray says, what thing in honor had my father lost that need to be revived and breathed in me? The king that loved him, as the state stood then, was perforce compelled, to banish him. And then that Henry Bolingbroke and he, being mounted, and both roused in their seats, their neighing coursiers daring of the spur, their armed staves in charge, their beavers down, their eyes of fire sparkling through sights of steel, and the loud trumpet blowing them together, then, when there was nothing could have stayed my father from the breast of Bolingbroke, when the king did throw his warder down, his own life hung upon the staff he threw. Then threw he down himself and all their lives, that by indictment and by dint of sword have since miscarried under Bolingbroke. So yeah, before the banishment bit, Bolingbroke and Mowbray were like gonna have a fight, and the king stopped it by like throwing his club down so that they wouldn't kill each other, and decided to banish them anyway. So yeah, Mowbray has reason to be upset with King Henry, because that then made this whole argument then made his dad get banished, that and Bolingbroke is still in power, and yada yada. So good when we find out.